Good morning, everybody. My name is Zsadany, and we are calling you together with my friend and business partner, Zoltan from Budapest. And we are going to have an interesting discussion about the newest trends in the learning and development industry, and also about the expectations of the clients and large organizations. I'm actually the leader of the ALEAS team, the ALEAS simulation, which is presenting simulation-based experiential learning solutions to the market. And Zoltan Pop, my friend and co-worker, is also on that field. But Zoltan, can I ask you first of all to just give us an understanding about your work and about your background, and also what kind of programs and also companies you worked for?
Yeah, thank you, Zad, and hello, everyone. I'm glad to be part of this. My background is very varied, so I've been very lucky to be able to be exposed to so many different type of industries and sectors. I have a venture capital fund, which invests in frontier technologies. And that's one of the things that I do. Of course, I work with Zad in learning and development field. I've been involved in learning and development and health and wellness and development, and then a series of other things, being a serial entrepreneur. So I could go on and on about the various different businesses that I've been engaged in over the years.
That's interesting, Zoltan. And please also just give us an understanding about the regions and countries you worked for, because now you are from the US, so you are representing also not just the Texas business community, but also the United States business community. But you worked in Japan for many years. You had also a venture in China, and now you are calling from Budapest. How is it possible to just being so many places?
Yeah, just I've been blessed and very lucky to be able to move around the world and get all the experiences. So I had my family's from Hungary. I was born in the U.S. when they arrived to the U.S. from Hungary, and I was educated in the U.S. and started working there in various fields. And then I ended up working for a global company, which I got my first assignment to go to outside of the US to go to Japan. And overall, I worked in Japan for 15 years for a variety of types of work. I went back to the US. I worked in the .com and again, started a streak of entrepreneurial businesses. And then and also in the learning and development sector and in education and health and wellness. And then I wanted to come back home to Hungary to do some work here and bring what I learned back to Hungary, but also to get closer to work with you, Zad, on learning and development and take it to this next level, which is happening right now. We had the work that I've done, and I know the work that you've done. We projected that this would be the time for transformation and disruption of learning and development. And we've really seen it with COVID-19, and that has accelerated everything dramatically. So it's good to be here in Budapest. It's good to be working with you.
Yeah, you are welcome, and thank you very much for your ongoing support in our work, Zoltan. So when we are talking about disrupting the learning and development, and when we see actually the ongoing trends, what is the most important or disruptive? How you would describe actually the major trends the learning and development is going through currently, Zoltan? So what are the most important factors we should keep in mind and not let out of sight?
Yeah, I think this is a good dialogue to have, and there may be different points of view, and it's a good time to be talking about this. And we've seen it shifting and trending to a change. We've seen people have shorter attention spans. We've seen people want to learn through video as opposed to textbook. We've seen people more focused on what they're trying to learn to apply it directly. And we've seen people want to try to get certifications that will assist them to move and progress forward in careers and in life faster. And those are trends that are really driving the transformation over time. Then we see this massive change with COVID. So the brick and mortar locations, whether that's corporations or academic institutions, we've seen the shift away from being in a singular location to more virtual. And it was almost all virtual online shift. And we've seen also the trend on experiential learning. So experiential learning has really been trending, and I think will continue to trend with what I believe a very powerful combination of virtual and live supported mentoring or teaching or coaching or training.
Yeah, so what you mentioned, Zoltan, is first of all that the learning process is to be expected much shorter than it was before. And I can tell you, actually, when we started with the simulation of business, saying that actually a curricula is over 8 hours or a simulation takes more than 8 hours to go through, then it was an advantage. Everybody was happy about it. Now, if you are telling about the client that it requires 8 hours, everybody says, no, we do not have so much time. And the big question is, also with the younger generations, when we see that how certain social environment is used, like TikTok, for example. These social media applications were actually no longer than 30 minutes videos can be watched. So that will change, I think, dramatically the mindset of not just the students, but also the corporates. So how actually we can deal with that? I mean, we as providers of learning and development, because to be able to understand something or to be able to get experienced in something, it requires time. How to push it in shorter time? Are there any best exercises or best, so what is your idea about it, Zoltan?
Yeah, I think you're right, Zad. I believe that this our way of learning now and our way of watching things is really Netflix to TikTok.
Okay.
So the most that we can, people can sit down, and we're being conditioned to it. 30-minute series or episode in a series is a lot, and we may take a break from that. I think Netflix is monitoring how many times we take a break and putting algorithms around it to develop the next genre season of something. And then TikTok is even a shorter attention span, and people are learning from TikTok. There are some amazing, if you've seen some of the seniors that are huge in TikTok, they're passing on wisdom to younger people, and they're captivated, but only for a short period of time. Sure. So this trend is definitely happening where whatever we're training in, we have to recognize that, or developing technology around learning and development, that there is going to be these short attention spans and done in bursts.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely, a pressure, makes a pressure on everybody who is in this industry and tries to provide services which are valued by the clients. So, explaining a story or a narrative within a short period of time, that's interesting. The other you mentioned is actually how to combine the live sessions with online sessions, so a kind of blended learning. Does it working really? Starting learning online and then adding, some on-class or on-site activities? Does it make any sense?
Well, that's a great question, and I think time is going to tell the answer to that, and we're gonna find out because it's happening. We can study it and look at it and see how well people learn in that environment, and we're seeing some early signs of it that online, virtual 100% online training is not effective. And there's a multitude of reasons of it. There's some studies out that are early, but I think time will definitely tell. Experiential learning is really important. So if we, how do we gain an experience at if we're
that's the question.
Just watching something online? That's really not full experiential learning. It's, do we get in the car and drive and just, do it in a simulator only and then get on the street and trust that driver? Or should there be a driver instructor somewhere in the process still? With the simulator? The simulators are good.
But there are industries actually they are using simulation really on a top level, like the airplane industries and the pilots are trained not in real setup, because you do not just make experiential learning with living souls. So we think in most of the cases that the online world is quite dangerous, but in this case, as I'm hearing you, Zoltan, it provides much more the safe environment for learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives us some practice in our experience, so we can actually make mistakes and we can learn through the mistakes, but we still need that driver's instructor. And I'm sure when you get out of the airplane flight simulator, there's somebody that's going to talk to you about what you did to help you along and help you identify what you should be learning through that experience. But it is much safer if someone crashes the plane in the simulator than in real life and gains experience that way.
And that's so expensive.
I think we'll see more simulation into the online. And I think blended learning combined with it is going to be a really powerful combination. It eliminates a lot of the brick and mortar requirements as well.
Okay.
And harnesses the power of the existing trend to virtual and online meetings, just like the one we're having right now.
Okay, yeah, sure. And also the cost side of this, I think, is absolutely an important aspect, that creating dangerous or special situations virtually have different costs than just doing it in the real life, and the consequences, of course, are different. Zoltan, when we are talking about mixing together real life reality with virtual reality, then we are already talking about data. So any interaction, and you talked about online interactions and experiential learning online, that creates a lot of data. And there is a saying that the new oil is actually the data. But organizations and companies can learn from the data produced by these systems. What's your impression? And you are coming from the data utilizing industry, let's say. So you have that background too. How you see what companies are looking for when we are talking about data?
Yeah, if we look at data this way, we can either be a data swamp or a data lake. And if it's a data swamp, then what happens is that you have just an enormous amount of data, but you don't know what to do with it or how to get anything that will be helpful. So the data should come back to do something. And if it's a corporation, for sure, a corporation, even an individual, but a corporation is always looking for ROI on their learning and development. Mm-hmm. Individual is absolutely starting to look for that ROI too. Okay. Again, it's a shift from I'm going to go to the best school, that I can get into, and I'm going to get a certificate. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. But people want to know, what is it going to get? What is the money going to get for me in terms of whatever it is that I was trying to achieve through that training, that session that I was doing or series that I was doing. And the data has to be connected to that. It has to be in a way driven to provide reports back and analytics that can help that person identify, did I learn? There's going to be the subjective thing. I felt like I learned. I'm pretty sure I know more than I started, and I'm sure it's true. But if there's ways to, provide credibility and validity to, it becomes very powerful because it can do several things. It can help me drive towards, well, these are things I like. These are things that are easy for me. These are things that I can do. This is the next place I should go. So there's so much that data can also do that helps in really doing, it's like a referral engine.
Okay.
For you, for the company, for whomever.
Yeah, and that can be also served as an integrative part of the knowledge management system companies are building up, and turning actually this huge amount of data into valuable information. I think that's one of the biggest challenges nowadays the learning and development faces. Do you see the same?
Yeah, this is I think some great work that can be done by people in the learning and development community, corporations, and others. There's a lot of investment that goes into an employee, for example, for a corporation. So if a corporation invests a lot of money, and they have a good employee, but that employee can get lost, amongst thousands and thousands of people. But how will the company know where the real skill sets and the value and the application that all the strengths of that person can be applied to get the most meaningful production from that person, and then also help that person through their own career path and combine the two together to make it very powerful, much faster, much more efficient, and absolutely more effective.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we talked now about fast learning, about the time actually people are utilizing for learning. We talked about the video, which is a very important form of learning nowadays. We talked about experiential learning and how actually an experiential learning field could be created, matching the online and the on-site opportunities. And of course, we talked about all the data actually this kind of environment can produce and how to utilize it. Just for a closing thoughts, what you would actually suggest for learning development professionals to focus on based on what we talked about? What will be the most important to get in mind when they are actually starting new learning journeys or thinking about acquiring new learning journeys for their personal?
Yeah, this is a very difficult one because there's so many choices out there. So how do you really choose what's best for you? Do you go through a standard program to learn, let's say psychology, right? So should you identify the best university for a psychology program, and then go through that process? And how do you pick it, right? This is for people that are going through the process of learning and development. It's first, what do you want to learn? How do you identify what you want to learn? We probably still will change our careers, 7 times through our lifetime at least. But how do you do it in a way that's efficient and cost effective, and you're happy doing it, right? It's something that brings you joy while you're changing careers 7 times or 4 times or 3 times, or maybe you get it right. You figure it out the first time and you drive it. And there are so many tools out there. The key is going to be selection. How do you select the right ones that are for you in your career path? And then how do you select the right people to be around you that have the expertise to mentor you, to guide you, to train you? It used to be, I'm going to go to Harvard. If I can get into Harvard, I'm going to go there. The best of the best is there. There are a lot of great people, and Harvard's a great university, absolutely. But there are a lot of great people out there that can connect with an individual and help them, along. So, and things are changing very rapidly as well. So how do I then show to whoever it is beyond myself, prospective employer, my current employer, that I really did it? And again, that's in a selection process of I select the right people that are, have a track record, have some sort of a program which can show that ROI back to myself and to the company that I work for as well. So just a real simple, I guess, statement for me is selection.
Okay, and that's important and not easy. So that's a real challenge. Thank you very much, Zoltan. It was really nice to have this conversation with you. We wish all the best to these online conference participants from Budapest. Good luck and make good choices and good selections in your career. Thank you very much. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Zad. Always good talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.